Dang, that's bright. Well, anyways, I'm not going to point it at my eyes. I will put it down here and I will speak this way, not looking at the light. So, today is the third day I'm going to record a video of me speaking without any filler words or pauses or poorly constructed sentences. I'm going to talk first about the power of precise, purposeful practice. Now, we've all heard about practice makes perfect, right? So, that's actually incorrect. Purposeful practice drives results. In order to leg cramp. In order to practice well, we must have a precise goal in mind of what exactly we want to accomplish or improve. So say we're practicing speaking like I am right now with a leg cramp. You must power through the leg cramp with a particular goal in mind of what you want to accomplish. Today's goal is to speak nonstop, speak as clearly and construct the most articulate sentences no matter what happens, no matter if the car flips upside down, no matter if you get a leg cramp, no matter if you can't think of what to speak next. You must always keep going, never stop, train yourself to be able to speak in this manner and fashion, because this is what's going to propel your ability overall. This is the skill needed to be able to be a competent communicator. There are other sub-skills in communication. For example, the ability to speak louder, because most people speak with a volume that is slightly turned down a few levels too low. Most people could use a rise in their level of volume when they're speaking. 1, it helps people who are hard of hearing understand you. 2, it establishes a certain amount of credibility and authority that you know what you're saying, even before you explain what exactly you know about what you're talking about, or explain to somebody that you actually do know a few things. Back to purposeful practice. Once we have a goal in mind, we need to aim as hard as we can to practice that goal in the hardest fashion possible. For example, if my goal was to speak more loudly overall, I would choose that one goal, that one specific criteria of communication, and I would work on it in the hardest way possible. So, I'm speaking to camera, and I make sure that I don't drop my volume no matter what, because the whole goal of this is to see how far you can push yourself without messing up, without having to start over, without having to rebuild anything or have second or third takes. So if we were drilling for volume, that means that I must stay at a specific volume. I can go higher if I want. I can go louder, but I must stay at a normal volume. I must not come down here, because if I come down here, I'm practicing the thing that I'm trying to fix. So we're going to practice speaking at a louder volume. If I was working on speaking faster, not just to speak faster, but be able to string sentences together more closely without any thinking time, meaning that my brain must work either faster or my sentences must be built before I speak. I must have a clear and strong muscle and mind connection to be able to speak and put sentences together without having to think, so I can speak at a rate of speech that's more engaging, that shows more energy, so that people will want to listen. Or if they don't want to listen, it's because I'm going too slow. And that is a specific criteria in and of itself that I can practice. So we got different areas. Or perhaps it's because I might be speaking at a fine volume, so you can hear me okay. I might be speaking in a clear manner without any pauses in between. So I'm speaking well, I'm speaking at a certain volume. I don't have to stop and take long pauses between my sentences. However, I stay at a specific tone. Right? I don't vary my melody. I don't vary my pitch. So then I become very boring, because if I spoke like this every single second of the day or whenever somebody was listening to me, it would become very boring to listen to because it's the same pitch. So we can also work on different aspects. For example, the pitch, like I just highlighted. So we can come down here, and if we want to go up, we can come up. And if we want to go back down, we will be able to vary the melody so that it's also more engaging. Because the last thing you want to hear is a monotone voice. And a monotone voice, like when Jung says, comes from a monotone body. In order to have a more melodic variety in our speech, we have to engage our entire body, our facial features, our facial muscles, our body, our hand gestures. They all have to come together, which requires more energy on our part. We become more engaging. Literally, we engage more with the words that we are saying, and this becomes a very important aspect if we wanted to drill melody. Perhaps we want to drill emphasis. So whatever we say, we must always find the exact thing we want to say, and we must pinpoint it and draw emphasis to the word we want to bring our emphasis on. Speaking about whatever topic, if we are learning about how to fly a plane, for example, we can speak about it with emphasis. Notice what I'm doing. I'm leaving pauses, sometimes longer and sometimes shorter, in between the words that I'm saying to create a more effective way of communicating what I'm saying. For certain periods, I'll string a bunch of words together and sentences together that don't mean very much, in order to be able to get to finally arrive at the point which I want to make, which is our ability to communicate with air traffic control is vitally important. So we must learn all of the signs, and we must learn how to articulate different letters of the alphabet in the manner and the way that is customary for aviation. We must learn how each individual control works in the plane, and how to read our flying navigation charts. All of this, if explained well, will have periods of slow rates of speech, and also have periods of fast rates of speech. And then it will have a time where we find the exact point we are trying to make and hone it all our attention to that one thing we want to make clear. Is that clear? I think so. So these are some examples about different areas of just in the domain of speaking and communication we can practice more purposefully. It means that we're trying to specifically focus on a specific element within the domain we're working on. Boxers and athletes do this all the time. They'll choose a specific move, a specific shot, a specific sequence, and they drill it. They just drill it, same time, same position, over and over again, trying to make it better each time. That's purposeful practice. And that's what's needed to happen in order to improve. It's called having ultimate awareness for the skill which we are trying to obtain. And in so obtaining, attain enlightenment in certain areas. That was a bogus sentence. I'm going to end it here because this light is not great on the eyes. I hope what I was saying was clear. And I also believe that I said very few filler words. And I believe most of my sentences were pretty clear and articulate. There's still lots of work to happen, still lots of work to be done. But that's what I'm practicing. I'm practicing purposefully in the hardest way that I know by myself. The only harder way that I could do it is if I was in front of a lot of different people, and that might trigger some nervous energy. But me speaking to camera means that I'm the only one solely responsible of engaging, which is a lot of responsibility, which means I'm practicing in the hardest way that I can right now. And I'm focusing on speaking with clear sentences in a semi-quick manner, using no filler words, with a certain amount of volume that I feel is needed to be heard and to carry meaning to other people. So without further ado, I wish everybody a fantastic evening and a great day.